keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. It's time to talk about the fourth round. Pick 134. 49ers firmly there, ready to pick. And who's that going to be, Alex? There's going to be a lot of interesting, possibilities there, depending on what the 49ers have addressed in day 2 of the draft, while we were live at the draft party. It could be a good decision and indication of how they go. They could go interior offensive line. They could potentially go, with somebody in the secondary. I know there's a lot of push for them to pick up a safety. But, Alex, which way do you think they go?
Look, I think the thing we have to start looking at here is at this point of the fourth round, this is starting to get into that area where the Niners are going after gems. They're going after guys who maybe aren't necessarily need things that are necessary, but things where they're looking at the player, looking at the grade that they have on said player, and have been like, hey, the value here starts to make a lot of sense. Which is why, for me, this spot typically is an area that I like to think not just wide receiver, but running back could be an option. Running backs seem to be something that are available at this spot. Pierre Strong is a guy that we've talked about a lot on the show, who has the speed aspect and the dynamic aspects that does a lot of different things. We're also seeing guys like Brian Robinson from Alabama starting to fall down boards and being a possibility in these types of spots. A dynamic running back can do a lot of different things, and that you and I, one of our favorite backs when we watch on film. So yeah, fourth round, 134, you're looking at running back options. It does make sense. This also is an area where you could go after a developmental safety. The only question is can said guy make the roster? I know you've brought that up and you've mentioned that, but there's a couple of guys in this area that we've talked about. Guys like Weatherford out of Miami, Ohio, who could translate into the linebacker spot in the linebacker position, as well as Marquise Bell, who goes kind of in the spot. You may be able to risk it at the next selection at 172 and wait for him to get back closer to that area or even further back. But this is what I mean. I'm not convinced either of those names makes the roster at this spot. It kind of does feel like that maybe running back or potentially wideouts that would be on the board seem like the option here.
Yeah, impact players, right? And Pierre Strong is one of those impact players. So right away, he would be somebody that's on the board that would be very enticing to the 49ers. You're right, the 4.3 speed, he was the number one guy at the Combine, and that translates on film. This is not a guy that runs 4.3 at the Combine and then doesn't look 4.3 on film. He 100% does, but he carries a big punch too. Because where Elijah Mitchell had to get under, under 205 pounds to be able to run that 4.3, Pierre Strong didn't. He stayed over 215 pounds. He's very fast. He's very elusive in the open field. He's somebody that can take contact and run through it. I really like him. So he's somebody I'm definitely interested in. And then if you haven't addressed offensive line, this is the place you could go offensive line. This is where Alec Lindstrom, some people would say a reach. I say this is the hotbed for him. This is the sweet spot where you could pick up your center of the future, somebody that could come in, already understands what's expected of him in this system, has great handwork, great foot technique. This is a guy that you want in your system, so he would make a lot of sense. And, of course, there's other tackles as well. Spencer Buford around here, UTSA's tackle, who could play interior in the guard spot, has a lot of flexibility as well. Those are guys I would start to think about in this area. You brought up the safeties. I'm not sure this is a safety area for the 49ers. Even though we are looking safety, are looking linebackers, I'm not sure a safety makes this roster. So that's something to take into consideration, but you're right, they're impact players. Now, if you're talking wide receiver, Alex, what wide receivers are you thinking here? Is this Tyquan Thornton area, that elite speed, one of those guys? Or are you looking at somebody that potentially fell down the list? Or maybe is this where you start thinking Velus Jones, Bo Melton?
Bo Melton is a possibility here at the spot. You're not wrong there. Bo Melton would be a name that if you wanted to reach up and maybe you missed on another name earlier in this draft and you're looking for someone who does a little bit of the dynamic stuff and has some speed aspect there, maybe Tyquan Thornton possibly, because I don't know if him or Velus Jones makes it back to 172. I think someone will reach up and take them a little bit earlier. But what you just said is the thing that has to weigh most on everyone's mind. Interior O-line. I mean, if you haven't addressed it yet, this is a spot. I don't believe Alec Lindstrom is going to be going near the 200s, which is where some people have placed him. I think this area right here from 134 to 172, any time between now and then is when most people are going to go, and I don't necessarily hate going a little bit earlier on a guy like this. The other name to keep an eye on as well, and in this area, Kyrie Smith at Ohio State. I know this is a spot that he would be going in as well. So if you didn't necessarily get an edge rusher early, you're looking for a guy with some elite skill sets and has some development stuff that he needs to work on, but a guy that you can try and sneak in and grab in this sort of spot, it would sort of make sense here because necessarily at 172, unless you're being aggressive and coming back up, he's not going to be around in that spot either. So there's a lot of possibility. There's a lot of names. I won't also not throw this out there. Big Zachary Carter fan, Ant. You start getting to that 134, 172 range. This is where I'm starting to look at him also.
Yeah, Zachary Carter and Tyreek Smith are both edge rushers that definitely make a lot of sense for the 49ers in this area. Both can be 3-down guys. And so if you're looking for somebody to add into your rotation, they would be there. Now, they would be developmental, and they would have to go ahead and compete with the guys that are there.
Good luck in Murderer's Row, gentlemen.
Yeah, good luck with that. But this is one of those times where you add to strength. So, I mean, when you're in the 4th round, you're just looking for the best available players. We've named off a bunch of them. I think if I had to bet, the 49ers go with interior offensive line or the running back Pierre Strong. I think that speed would be hard to ignore. So I would go Alec Lindstrom or Pierre Strong if it was me picking at 134.
That would be the two options I would see there as well. They seem like the two most realistic options. Then again, Niners do like themselves hybrid tackles who can slide into guard, so don't count out Spencer Burford in that. I think all three of those names, Ant, are the most likely. And if you sat me down and said, Alex, you have to make a choice right now, what's it going to be? My heart tells me Pierre Strong, and my head tells me Burford because of the flexibility there. But in my mind, I'm sitting there going, Alec Lindstrom seems like the safe spot.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to ignore the 4.3 speed of Strong with the elusiveness in the open field. There's not very many guys that can do it like that, so this seems like a Kyle Shanahan fit, but we'll see what they do at 134 if they pick at 134.
Yeah, it's if they haven't moved off of that pick already and got a little aggressive earlier. And that's the important thing. TCC, though, let us know what you think down below in the comments section right now. Who is the guy at 134? Is it Burford? Is it Lindstrom? Is it Pierre Strong? Or is it someone else entirely and we just dropped the ball? We want to hear from you on this. Make sure you're commenting away, and don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss any more of these picks, and they don't want to be not around in here on draft party day, which is obviously day 2 and not today, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to want to be at the draft party. It's going to be exciting. The 49ers are going to be making moves, potentially moving up, moving back, but we do know they're going to make something happen, and hopefully they're adding a big-time impact player, and you're going to want to be in Galt, California to celebrate with us. It's going to be a good time there at Back Alley Brew. So if you're anywhere near the area, come by, hang out with us. Enjoy yourself.
Have a good time. Enjoy the rest of the picks coming your way, and more of them to come. Lots of content coming out throughout the day. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure you're subscribed and notified that way you don't miss any of it. And until the next one, Cutback Crew and the Faithful, stay safe.
And remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way. You stuck around all the way to this point. Liked and subscribed if you haven't already. And there's some cards over there, Ant, too, with some other high quality videos they can check out.
Yeah, click one of the links and watch one of the videos. It's going to be great.
We'll see you there.